Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like the video, make sure you share the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I have dropped my Patreon link down below. Thank you. So this is Brzrkr from Keanu Reeves. Now I talked about this a month ago, and it's interesting to see what's actually happened since then. So it's been released 3 days ago with 27 days left to go, and it has absolutely smashed its pledge. So I've converted it here from euros. In euros, it's 458,637. This is a live update, by the way. Converted from 543,462.69 pledged of a $50,000 goal. So it's over $500,000 now within 3 days. This is absolutely brilliant to see. I am delighted for Keanu Reeves that this has been such a roaring success, and I hope this is turned into a TV series or a film, maybe even a film series. That would be absolutely excellent. I cannot wait to have this comic book in my own hands, because I will be supporting this, hopefully within a local comic book shop. Now, what's interesting about this is they decided to go with Boom Studios. I'm curious as to see why, because if I was Keanu Reeves, Matt Kint and Ron Garney, they should be looking at this maybe and saying, we could have kept all the profits ourselves rather than giving it to a publisher to publish this. So there is that argument to be made. However, I do think that Keanu was probably trying to do the good thing, the right thing, which is to try and help a publisher out. Do publishers deserve it? Some maybe, most no, because of the individuals that they decided to employ during their tenure. The individuals that pushed fans away, the individuals that abused fans, aka paying customers. These individuals that were let off the leash and were let talk absolute nonsense online. This is the publishers. And the publishers, some of them I think are going to eventually go away. I think you will see the end of the publishing arm of DC Comics. I think we will see the end of the publishing arm of Marvel Comics, because it looks like some of them are going full on into the woke world, and that is only going to end in disaster. Obviously now Kickstarter is disappointing to see this sort of stuff, considering what this group are up to recently and the chaos that they're causing. So it does leave a sour taste when you have to back a project on Kickstarter, given the history with Kickstarter, particularly with Comicsgate. You had Camilla Zong there, who was responsible for gatekeeping against individuals like Richard C. Meyer and John Malin. She was eventually fired by Kickstarter, along with a number of other individuals, due to poor decision making and them not earning money. Had they have allowed Comicsgate on the Kickstarter, those people probably wouldn't have been fired or lost their jobs. That is food for thought, in my opinion. Now, what's interesting about this is Keanu Reeves. I've never spoken to a person or anything like that that didn't like Keanu Reeves as a human being. Okay, maybe you could criticize the acting a little bit, but anything and everything you see him in, he comes across so nice, and he comes across as someone that is full of enthusiasm, and he has become a meme for positive reasons over the last number of years, which is absolutely brilliant to see. I'm a big fan of Keanu Reeves, particularly in the John Wick movies. I think they're absolutely fantastic, and I think this comic, as I said, could lend itself really well to a TV series or a movie. Now, what's interesting to see about this is Donald DeLay, who is an artist and he's working with Cecil. Ethan Van Sciver posted about this, and Donald decided to talk to Ethan about this. Most of these people have Ethan blocked, and that is because Ethan has been telling very harsh truths about the comic book industry and how these people that have blocked him have ruined the comic book industry, and their jobs are and will go away due to this. They do not like to hear the truth. They like to be in their own echo chamber. So we have this individual Kwanzaa, and if you have a look at Kwanzaa has BLM posted all over his profile, and it's absolute nonsense from him. So you should keep a look on his profile. It makes for some good laugh material. So Tess Fowler, she comments on this and says, heavy sigh. This is an individual that's been very distasteful towards fans, aka paying customers, has been very distasteful in things she said online. Horrendous stuff, really. He says, things accelerated quickly from indies using crowdfunding due to lack of resources and visibility, to publishers with resources going to crowdfunding with highly visible celebrities attached. Now, these people don't understand business whatsoever, because in a business, if there's not a lot of people purchasing things on Kickstarter, you're probably going to say to yourself, well, I wish someone would come on to Kickstarter that I have my material up on so that they could get us a bit of notice. But these people don't think like that. They see Todd McFarlane, for example, going on to Kickstarter to make a figure, and they criticise him by saying, well, you have a multi-million-dollar company, why don't you just produce it yourself? That's not the point. And you people should be delighted that an individual like Todd McFarlane, that an individual like Keanu Reeves is deciding to grace your site with his presence. I would have loved to see Keanu Reeves using Indiegogo personally, and I think the other two guys might look at the profits here and say, well, we probably should have used Indiegogo and not used a publisher and kept all of the profits ourselves. But that's a question and a conversation for those guys involved. These people don't get capitalism, they get communism, however, which is one of their problems. They do not seem to think that people and fans are going to be turned away from their behaviour, but they've been turned away in their droves. So seeing this type of nonsense here of, well, it's indies and their lack of resources and their lack of visibility with publishers, and these other superstars are going to come on and they're going to take over. That's not the truth, because if you're on Kickstarter, you're going to look at Kickstarter and say, wait, is there more stuff here that I could enjoy? Actually, it might be recommended something that I do enjoy. These people don't think like that. They're all self-centered. They do not think of the greater idea of, well, hang on, if a mega star is here, maybe someone will look at my work and purchase that too. So this is the type of idiots that you're dealing with. Next up on the list was an individual called Tess Fowler. So Tess Fowler is an individual within the comic book industry, as I've just said, who has been very poor in her behaviour towards fans, to fellow creatives, and has been an absolute plague and a thorn in the side of anybody that's in comics gate. Just a nasty individual. Now I will say, as you can see here in her bio, I do wish her well. I hope she lives a very long life, and I hope she does become healthy again and everything is good with her, and that is all I'm going to comment on that one. So you see her attitude here. Comicbook.com, Keanu Reeves Brzrkr with Matt Kint and Ron Garney from Boom Studios is heading to Kickstarter. Heavy sigh. I mean, what sort of attitude is that? You should be saying, brilliant, bring some attention to Kickstarter. Hopefully I can put work belonging to me or my friends can go up on this, and we can actually get part of this. We can actually earn some money off the back of this. Doesn't think that way. Madness. Absolute madness. Next we have Aubrey Sitterson. So this guy now, we're just going to look at this guy in a moment. This guy is an absolute moron. And an absolute... yeah, I don't think you can even say the word on YouTube really, but horrible individual also. The Keanu Reeves Kickstarter is particularly egregious, but it's not much worse than any publisher using the platform to fund work it retains the rights to. If a publisher can't provide the capital to get a comic made, what purpose does it serve except exploitation? This guy hasn't got a clue. Egregious is a word being used here. That's pure nonsense. To my mind, the big issue isn't rich people using Kickstarter, but rather publishers using Kickstarter to further absolve themselves of the responsibilities of being a publisher. Promotion has already been outsourced to creators, now funding has been outsourced to fans. Because you guys do not have fans, that's why. So these companies probably do not want to take the risks anymore when it comes to these type of things. I personally think Boom Studios could have just released this, no problem, and they would have sold an awful lot of copies. But here's Aubrey Sitterson now. This is something he tweeted out September 11th, 2017. Now that's a very important date if you all remember that one. And this is what he decided to say. Oh good, it's self-centered national tragedy remembrance from people who weren't even anywhere near New York City that day. Now I'm saying that's the correlation. This is an individual that was writing with Marvel and was writing with G.I. Joe. Had to be booted from G.I. Joe due to being an absolute commie. Like, this is the type of individual that these companies have employed, and this is the type of nonsense that he's going with. It's absolutely unbelievable and inexplicable as to how these people are even being listened to. Never mind having jobs at these companies. You're actively annoying fans. You're actively annoying a large portion of individuals, and you're trying to write G.I. Joe with a tagline of a real American hero. Stop. Now, that just goes to show everything. rich people using Kickstarter, because you wouldn't know anything about being rich, because you're just interested in being commie. Now, next guy we're going to look at, we have here is Joe Glass, and he says, I think with this one it's even muddier because by their own admission this campaign won't be used to fund the production. That's already been done by Boom according to their EIC. This is just to grab the engagement of a platform typically used by truly independent creators. Yeah, the same creators that you and the likes of the Whisper Network, which I've covered in previous videos, have tried to strong arm the likes of Sean Gordon Murphy, have tried to strong arm and seem to have successfully strong armed Scott Snyder into your will. And in which case, now that the campaign is vastly over its targeted goal, where will that extra money go? So, where will the profits go? I suppose profits is something you don't understand, so it will probably go into their pockets. Clearly not all of it on extra awards, so will that be paid to the creators or back into the publishers' pockets? Nothing to do with you. Profit's profit. You just don't know and understand what a profit is. Now, when you look at this guy's tweeting, and he has me blocked, I think, for very valid reasons, insofar as I had a very valid criticism. He didn't like it, he cried about it, and then blocked me. So this is the type of guy, these are the type of individuals you're dealing with. They don't want to hear valid criticisms, they just want to hear their own echo chamber and sniff each other's farts. So here's the type of tweet that this guy is talking about. So this is from Heel versus Babyface, so great YouTuber and fantastic on Twitter also, part of Friday Night Tights. I absolutely love Friday Night Tights. He decided to say Comicsgate is a hate group. This is something him and people of his ilk try to say all the time. Comicsgate is a group of individuals of various races and both genders and every orientation that's involved. And these people like to try and label Comicsgate a hate group because Comicsgate has one thing that these people do not, and that is pleasing fans. These people within Comicsgate want to please fans and don't want to be abusing fans, whereas these people think otherwise. He says, I had to create my social media platforms, making it harder for new followers to find and interact with me, because if I didn't, I had a daily dose of hatred and insults in my notifications, probably due to the nonsense that you used to be talking. Now, Joe Glass, again, is another individual that if you asked anybody on the street, you'd say, do you know who Joe Glass is? A majority of the people go, who? So, this guy is a nobody that thinks he's a somebody, and this is the type of nonsense that this guy wants to put up. It's absolutely mad stuff. Now, the last tweet we're going to look at is Tess Fowler's, and Tess Fowler is someone that I have already talked about earlier on. And this is an SJW at work today in comics, apparently known Batman writer. So this is what they do. They like to say these type of statements and not actually name the person because they're all cowards. And if they do decide to name them or they don't, it's what called Voldemorting. They try and not say who the individual is so that they can make, I suppose, insinuations towards individuals rather than being caught within a defamation or a libel scandal. Who supports bigots in the hate movement, as well as supports that hate movement's apologists, has a new imprint at DC and is hiring bigots. These people don't even know what the word bigot means, and it's lost all sort of meaning and sort of, I suppose, venom, because these individuals decided to use that and racist so much that it just has no meaning anymore. The same with Yahtzee. They try and say that all of the time and people just say whatever to them now. Lol, I told you in effing 2017 dude was a problem, but ooh, he makes Batman comics. Now, it's alluded to that she's talking about Sean Gordon Murphy, and this was an individual that they did try to strong arm, and subsequently he has left Twitter due to the nonsense like this. So this is the type of hateful nonsense that these people are spewing. They hate individuals. These guys are the hate group. Make no mistake about it. These guys are the hate group. They hate anybody who is successful. It's been proven now. They were hating on Sean Gordon Murphy. They were hating on Ethan Van Sciver. They're hating on Cecil. They're hating on John Malin. They're hating on Keanu Reeves now. So they just keep moving their targets to people who are successful, rather than looking inward and saying to themselves, how could we do better? What are we doing wrong? Because clearly we're doing something wrong when the fans won't show up for our material, they won't purchase our material, and actually titles that we're being on have to be cancelled due to this. So here we go, same individual, heavy sigh, and then then is talking about this. This just goes to show you the stupidity of these individuals. And like I said, you would think making a profit is going to be a good thing. These people don't see it that way. They have a commie mentality. They are absolutely nuts. And the sooner the comic book industry decides to look at itself and say, hang on, cut these people out, get people in that are just wanting to make good material, good comics that people want to buy, not fill it with SJW, woke, weirdo, PC nonsense or their own politics. Get it out there, put good stories in, and that's what we need to do. But you're seeing attitudes like this and the attitudes of other individuals that are creeping out from under the woodwork and trying to take a stab and try and take a shot at Keanu Reeves, of all people. That's despicable in my opinion. Taking a shot at probably one of the nicest actors in Hollywood, the nicest people in Hollywood. Not that it has many. And Keanu Reeves is the individual you're trying to take a shot at. It's disgusting. You people are disgusting. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Good luck.